Good evening and welcome to the Town of Litchfield Recreation Commission meeting for Tuesday, January 9th, 2024. We will open the meeting and call the roll. I'm Peter Ames, Chair of the Commission. Andy Ruggles, Vice Chair.
Here.
Chris Burns, Member.
Here.
Steve Weber, Select Board Rep.
Present.
Jeff Town, Member.
Here.
Judy Brennan and Mike Bosky are absent with notice tonight. First order of business is approval of the December 12th minutes. Have members had a chance to review the minutes?
I'll make a motion to accept those minutes.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there discussion or suggested edits to the minutes? Seeing none, we'll call a vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, abstain, 401. Next, we are going to move into new business and welcome up some guests from the Conservation Commission. So George and Ann, if you want to come on up, introduce yourselves, and we'll have a chat.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks very much.
Thanks.
Yours says David Labash, but it's really, theirs says the new one with the Conservation Commission on the name of the quote. George Labash, 13 Pearson Street.
Diane Plansky, Conservation Commission, Secretary.
Welcome.
Okay, so we have a couple of items to talk about.
That we need your approval on because they're actually rec commission properties.
Right. Okay, so I'll go into detail about the milfoil in a minute, but there's a matter of the fishing derby that is co-sponsored by the Conservation and Rec. And so we've decided on a date or tentative date of May 18th, still at Parker Park. And I guess we have a budget line item for both committees. Last year, we both had $750 as the budget, and actual expenditure was just under $300 each. But just wanted to make sure that you guys were aware.
Last year, Michael Croto went to his fishing board and they gave us a couple $100 worth of fish as well. So that saved us each about $120.
So just letting you know about that.
Sure.
And we may try to have an ice fishing derby this year on Dara, if we get any ice. And we have a tentative date of February 24th for that.
Very tentative.
Yes, very
just-
tentative.
Just so that we could get the paperwork done, right?
Right, so we're gonna apply to,
And get some ice.
we're gonna apply to fishing
Date's
game.
open, so
Excuse me?
I think that date's open on Dara Pond, so you should be all right.
Thank you, Chris. I was worried, weren't you?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And so, I think I'm just gonna, get the bait and the prizes, so I'll be running that. The Conservation Commission will be running it, but, I'll handle the prizes and whatever we do.
I'm kind of excited. I've never been ice fishing before. I don't know whether or not any of you have. No?
Years ago.
I have.
Years ago? I figured you were gonna say yes, Jeff, because you're a Boy Scout.
Right. And so, between a number of the members on the Conservation Commission, we have enough tip-ups and equipment, and I might be able to bring in, some other friends to make sure we have enough for at least one trap per kid.
Oh, nice.
Fantastic.
So, it could be pretty good, educational, probably for most people.
Be a great experience for most people.
Exactly.
I'm gonna go.
Yeah. Okay, so I think that's all of the
That's the fishing derby stuff.
fishing derby stuff.
Can you let us know if that May 18th date is okay, though?
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we
I'm
can
good.
count on a couple of you guys coming down and helping us out, the girls.
Yep.
Yep.
People. Thank you.
Can I ask a question about that? Because I know last year there was some thought about moving from Parker Park, given the rain that we got just before the tournament and flushed a number of the fish
Did.
downriver.
We literally have nowhere to go, basically. Even if we can fix the milfoil problem in Dara,
Yeah.
they don't stock trout in Dara. So we can't use Dara. The old location that we used to use, there was a beaver dam problem. And it involved not just the owner of the property, but the owner of the property that the beaver dam was on. So there was a problem to try and go back there. Any other, there is, the Londonderry fishing dam.
Yeah,
Yeah, that they've offered their,
because they do a derby every year also.
they do, but then we're not in Litchfield.
Yeah, well, the entrance is.
Pretty close. As close as you can get without being in Litchfield.
Most of the
Do you
access
guys
roads
wanna
in
consider
Litchfield.
it? I know we had a sponsor before that wasn't at all interested, in sponsoring us if we did that. What do you think? Is it easier to fish there than it is at Parker Park?
It's a nice round hole,
Yeah, it's
and you have the
significantly
shoreline
easier.
all the way around it.
I mean, you don't have the walking
back.
hazards and the.
Diane, if
We-
you wanna see it, I can bring you over, I'm a member, so.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, we can
I'll
bring it back.
some other stuff to do over there.
I'll just say I'm not
A lot of
opposed
things
to
we can do
it.
over there.
Stuff like this, yeah.
I wasn't involved with, last year. I heard about the high water and that it was challenging.
Maybe
So
we can bring it back. We'll let you know what we find out. We'll send, Judy an email.
we still have time.
Yeah, we still have time.
So,
People
Whatever
look
thing is
at that.
best, absolutely,
Yep.
we'll support, but
Yeah,
whatever we can do to look at different options for you and help out, I'm more than happy to.
okay. Does anybody have any other ideas of places we could go? No.
Is that
Okay.
date rain or shine, or is there a rain date?
We haven't done a rain date before. We're always thinking it's gonna be sunny in Litchfield.
There you go.
I mean, we
Well, you
could,
would know better than anybody, right?
I haven't been doing the weather too much lately.
so after our experience from last year, right, if we see that we're going to have this flooding situation or the high water, perhaps we just, we cancel and move to a better date.
Yeah,
you know.
we'll see what happens with the paperwork on a situation like that.
Supposedly, it wasn't that hard to, switch the date. Once you're in the system, I guess it wasn't that hard in order to, according to what Harry said at the last meeting.
Okay, so we'll come up with a rain date, which would probably be the very next week. Good idea.
When's Mother's Day?
It's earlier.
Father's Day,
Okay.
June, isn't it?
It's in June, Mother's Day. is in-
Mother's Day
Mother's Day
quiz.
is in
For,
Mother's Day
Is
is
the
right
week-
around the 12th, isn't it? 13th?
So
It's
must,
usually like
must
the
the
10th,
12th.
12th,
Yeah,
13th,
yeah.
yeah. the
It's
first-
right in there. It's,
Okay, so,
First Sunday,
It's the week
16th,
before.
yeah.
all right,
Before.
yeah,
it's the
Okay,
week
so-
before, okay.
so we can go after, we can't go before.
okay. Well,
So-
probably shouldn't.
Right, yeah. Okay, all right, so then we'll just move into this milfoil. Okay, so, back in 2019, I guess, we reached out, I don't know if it was a joint conservation and rec project back then, but we got some quotes from, Solitude to come in and do a treatment. And they were gonna do a treatment in 2019 and then one in 2020, and then a follow-up in 2021. I guess we never decided to go through with that, and so it's been sitting on the back burner since then. There have been efforts made to contact Solitude again in order to get an updated quote for this year. I was able to talk to someone from that company, and so I actually spoke with him on the phone. We had a meeting, and he has ghosted me since, so I've not got a hold of him. I did call the state, and I was actually thinking about getting my own license to do the application myself, see if I could save the town money. That option won't work, but they gave me the names of two other companies that are licensed. One company said that we're too small for them. They're a multi-state company and they have limited people, and our project's too small. And the third company was Arbor Pro, which is where you see the quote from them. They're based out of Rochester. So the owner, Ron, came over, looked at the pond, and I've been able to have conversations with him, meet him, and they're responsive. So out of the three, we have one that will actually give us a quote and can do the work. So there, in order to do this treatment, there is some hoops that have to be gone through. You have to apply to the state, so there's some paperwork that has to be written. You're also required to notify abutters, so you have to send registered mail or something like that. So the quote covers sending out the letters to the abutters, all of the paperwork that we would have to do to the with the state. The treatment would be done in 2 steps. So what happens is when you put this herbicide in, it attacks growing plants. So this will be done once the plants have started growing in the spring, so probably in the June timeframe, I think. I haven't clarified exactly when he would do the treatment. So you do it, one treatment for half the pond, that will kill the vegetation, and when it dies, it starts consuming oxygen, so it takes oxygen out of the water. So he's doing it in two treatments such that the fish have a chance to move out of the areas where there's low oxygen and into the deeper parts of the lake or the other half of the lake, so there won't be a fish kill. And then he'll come back and do maybe 2 or 3 weeks later the other half of the lake. Okay, so he's done this a number of times, and so I think he's experienced in this. I am following up with Crystal Lake in Manchester. That was one of the references he gave me. It was a few years ago that he did Crystal Lake. I spoke with someone via email who didn't actually do Crystal Lake. He did a project in Pine Island Pond. So I'm still trying to find out someone who was involved with the Crystal Lake project.
And Crystal Lake does have problems, but not milfoil problems. They have other bacteria problems.
Okay, so as part of this treatment, he recommended we use this muck away product, which is beneficial bacteria. It comes in like a pellet formula, and he would apply that in front of the beach. So there's been some, it's been neglected for a while, and he said that'll eat, I think, 3 to 5 inches of muck out of there, so we won't have to go in there and rake the muck. And it's just organisms that will eat the actually decaying stuff there. And he said that he would possibly treat that same muck away stuff in front of someone that has frontage. There are a couple of houses
Yeah.
that may have beach-like areas, and so he said he would do that area to improve their water quality as well. Let's see. It requires posting. You must be off of it for it's 48 hours, I believe. So when he does do the treatment, we'll have to post the pond. I don't know if we give notice on it, but at least a sign at the beach.
We do have a woman who swims down there all the time.
Every
You
day,
ever
yeah.
run into her? Yeah. She's always out there raking and riding her bike.
So that's all I know, I think.
All right, questions from the group?
Is this meant to be a permanent solution, or is there ongoing maintenance?
So
What's the cost of that?
I asked him about a follow-up treatment because our quote initially from Solitude had a couple of years. And he said he would not want to quote a follow-up. He said every lake reacts a little bit differently. We may not need one, or we might need one, and it might be a much smaller scope. He said there will be the same fixed cost for the applications and the letters, but he didn't think we should do one. Now, do want to immediately schedule it for the following year. There may need to be reoccurring, like 2 or 3 years out. We may need to do another treatment. It all depends on how it goes.
There's another product that's in the works and used in other states that is not licensed in New Hampshire yet.
It is licensed in New Hampshire, so,
Oh, it is?
yeah, so he has not used it. It's not licensed on their website, so I asked, so I believe he's gonna use a product called Rodeo, which is a cousin of Roundup, okay, which gets the bad press and, right. It does dissipate within the 48-hour period. And I asked him about this other product, which is called Procelicor.
Yep.
Okay, so Procelicor has been used as well as this Rodeo in the state as well. So Procelicor is new. I think it started around 2018. And so they have been using that in Winnipesaukee. They did use it in Pine
Oh,
Island
that's
Pond.
right, that's right. I remember you said that.
So
now, I'm
I've done
sorry.
a bunch of research on this
Yep.
now. So he personally has not used that.
You have to be licensed, and we couldn't find anybody licensed to do it either.
Right, so,
It's something supposed to last longer. So if we get in the door with this product and see what happens with it, Procelicor is more expensive, but it's supposed to last longer. So if we get a big chunk out of it this time with this quote of $10,000, then hopefully the next round would be less, and maybe we can have a product.
So Do we know? I mean, I assume that it got in there via boats.
Well, so, our milfoil is different than the Eurasian milfoil that attacks, like
Big-
Winnipesaukee and everything that comes in on the boats. So this
Okay.
is a native, it's like a lowly milfoil or something like that.
Okay.
So, I talked to one person, and he said he wouldn't even harvest that because it's not the aggressive Eurasian milfoil. And he said the state, so this was a guy who does harvesting, he goes in and dives and actually sucks the stuff out. He said because it wasn't the Eurasian milfoil, the state, it was harder for him to go in and remove it for some reason, because the state doesn't want to destroy natural occurring stuff. Why they can put the pesticide there and not do the suction, I don't know if he was giving me a line, so, but
No,
the
but
question is,
I actually heard that from Joan.
the question is it's different, so it's lowly milfoil, so it's native.
Okay.
It just took over the whole lake, maybe because of lack of use,
Yep.
I don't know.
I was just curious if if it was the other type, if we should put like a boat washing station or something down there at post.
Well, I think most of the people that'll be going in there will be using kayaks or something like that.
Right.
Now, they could be putting some stuff up, from going other places, but, I think that usually travels based on, trailers from like bass boats. So I'm a bass fisherman and I have a bass boat, and so, like, if you go over to, Horseshoe Pond, there's milfoil everywhere there, and when you launch your trailer, it picks up the milfoil on the trailer, and so you have to go over the trailer and the boat and wash it, dry it to make sure you get rid of everything. It may stick to a kayak, but I don't think that's
Okay.
really the problem.
Got it.
You know, it's mostly larger boats, I believe. That's not to say you couldn't have some stuck on the line of your kayak or on your paddle.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, but,
So we know you guys don't have the money for it this year, and what we voted to do was to take the money out of the land purchasing fund to do this first time, so that we can maybe get our pond back and serviceable for the kids, this year. And then maybe next year when you do your budgets, maybe things will have opened up a little bit more, then maybe you guys can do the next application.
And by then, maybe we can even bring it to warrant, right? If we have one
Exactly.
treatment that's
talked
already
about
good.
that, yeah.
And if we can figure out what the ongoing cost will be, I think warrant's the best way to bring it, and then you just have a fund to pay for it. Because what happened in 2019 was, after the 3 applications, nobody could answer the question, what was the ongoing maintenance?
We still can't.
Yeah, so that's the tough part.
But it's just gotten worse.
It's gotten worse. So what happened was the selectmen pulled the warrant at that point, because we didn't know, did recreation want to keep it as a frog pond? Did they want it to be a swimming hole? So we kind of just said, we're gonna pull it in 2019, we can go back and readdress it. Well, now it's 2020.
And we
Yeah.
have this
We're
really
addressing it again.
active board now that
Yeah.
George is like on top of stuff.
so
It's really nice.
it would be really good if we could put a small dock or something there, so that maybe, people could fish there, or easier for launching their, kayaks or canoes. We might be able to get more use out of, or even for swimming. I mean, my son used to swim there when he was a kid.
Yeah, and with Hudson not using that well anymore, I mean, the water level should come back up.
They said it has.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. It's so hard to tell with all the rain that we got. It's
Yeah,
really
last
hard to say in a
Because I'd love
common
to see
year.
that turned back into a beach area with everybody using it. I
Exactly.
mean, it's a great
be
place to go
so
down.
cool.
You know, there's the pavilion right there, there's the playground, you have a beach area, there's so many things you could do with it.
Right.
Used to be a really nice place to swim, a
Yeah.
long time ago. We did talk about the warrant article, and we may put in a warrant article after we've done it in June for the next
Right.
election cycle that asks that the taxpayers reimburse the Conservation Commission land fund for that amount. We've
And at
talked
that point,
about
at least you can show is, hey, we did a treatment and this is how much more we got from it, right? A couple more treatments, we can get it into a better shape. By
Yeah.
then, we may have a better idea on what we want to go do with it, come up with some ideas on how we can make it back into a swimming
Nice to
lesson.
see
as
swimming
opposed-
lessons down there,
Yeah.
and,
Exactly.
you know.
And so by having this ice fishing derby, that'll bring more attention to the pond
Yep.
as well. And if we pull decent-sized fish out of there, through the ice, it may get, people's attention as well, right?
So the abutter,
Parker Park needs some work as well. You guys were down there, and
Yeah, so, we went in, this weekend, there was a tree across the path, so, we cut that up, and threw the logs off to the side and brushed it. We brushed a couple of the other areas, and there was a tree that was sort of hanging over the trail right at the very beginning. It was a dead log. We cut that down too. So Jason was noticing that, you know, there is some piles of logs, off to the side, maybe an old fence material that perhaps we could have a, coordinated cleanup day with a couple of trailers. I won't back over your blower this time, but you know, so
I
we,
didn't hear that
I
story.
want that in writing.
trust me. So maybe we could
Trust me.
have an organized, cleanup where, you know, we have a couple of trailers and we haul some of that brush out of there to just clean it up. a
Sometimes
little
you gotta watch out where you put your blower.
bit. Yeah.
Okay.
Go back to Dara for a second.
Sure.
The letters need to get noticed, but if any of them have a
The company will
concern,
do that we're using. We'll make sure they get all the abutters.
but if they have a concern, yeah, is there a process for them to?
Then I think they'll come to us, cause
Yeah.
conservation.
Yeah, so we
Well,
can't go
we can
through
make
it
sure
if
they
they
can
have
go
an
to
issue,
us.
right, yeah.
Okay.
I think there's an addition, is there an additional fee for them if they wanna do something else?
No.
No?
No, there's no other additional fee.
Okay.
Yeah, so they will be notified, via mail, and if they have a complaint, you know, we have to hear it and address it.
Okay, we'll make them come to us.
It's just like when butters are notified at the planning board. They can, when the butters are notified at the planning board, they can come when the site's in front of them to speak about it.
Right.
So you might wanna have a night or
Notify.
something, right, after you do it, give a few weeks and have a night where anybody, we're gonna have it on our docket if anyone wants to speak to it,
At conservation, not at,
conservation.
okay,
Well, we can do it at rec too, I mean, we can give them both parties if we want.
okay.
Do 2 different nights just to
Easy.
accommodate people's schedules.
Sure.
Good idea.
Thank you for doing the legwork on this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You did a great job.
Appreciate, we've all heard requests from residents about, you know, what we're doing with Dara, they'd love to see it have better use, so.
And I think this,
Sure.
by us taking money out of, our, capital fund or the land fund, you know, we're not hitting them with it at tax time, you know, everybody's
That's
really
always
sensitive.
that's always the kicker, you know,
Yeah.
because it's sensitive. It's,
Oh, my God.
we got a
yes.
lot of stuff coming up, and
Mhm.
we have to pay for in town, and
Exactly.
you know, so
It's budget time, so definitely think it's
Yeah.
all on all of our minds. So,
Okay.
I don't
Oh,
think we need a vote from them, do we? Just, is this, are we informational?
I think this is just informational.
And do you
I
mind if
believe
we do
unless
it?
rock on.
I do have a couple of points though. So I went to your website and looked at your Dara Pond write-up. You've got a link to a bad link
Oh, thank you.
to the state. You know, they have there's a map that shows the depth that the state has, and it tells you what fish species are in there. Okay, so there's just a new link. They must have moved it.
Thank you.
I also, I don't know if you guys received the email I sent. I did put my passboat in Dara, and I mapped, so I have this sonar, and I created a colored depth map. We could possibly put that on your site
Oh, very
as
cool.
well.
Yeah, that'd be great.
How deep is it?
It's like 22, 25, so I don't, yeah. So it's, 22 to 25, and actually the deepest part is fairly close to the beach.
Really?
Yeah,
That's funny.
so, so that might be good for people who are fishing, and, you know, again, if we do this ice fishing thing, I've got some things that I can show people depth and whatnot, so.
That's great.
Yeah, so if you need that, I don't know who does your website, you know, I can send the JPEG, and we can put it up there as another resource.
So send it to you, Peter.
Yeah, send it to me and we'll get it on. Thank
Okay,
you.
sure.
Appreciate that. All right, thank you
Thanks
for
for
coming and
having
your
us.
work.
Thanks for
George,
taking us
thanks for coming
first.
in. Take care. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, you did a great job with it.
All right, we'll move then back into public input for any other members of the public, of which there are none here this evening, so we will close public input. right, next we will move into facility and field requests, of which we have several. First, Litchfield Pickleball Association looking to use talent on Saturday, January 27th, for a member party. Just bring up my calendar, which I believe might conflict with basketball.
I think basketball is out of there by 4.
Before. Yeah, it looks like that by 2. Okay, yep. So it is open. All right, so Saturday, 27th, from 4 to 6 evening. Was there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve LPA for Talent Hall on Saturday, January 27th, from 4 PM to 6 PM for a member pizza party.
A second.
A motion and a second, is there discussion? Seeing none, we'll call the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion carries 5-0. Next, we have Litchfield Girls Softball League for talent Mondays, the 15th of January through April 1st, from 4 to 5 in the evening.
Want to take this one or want to take it?
Have at it.
All right. So, we're just trying to get a little more time for softball. We've already worked with basketball. They don't come in until 5 o'clock at night. Nobody's in there. Pickleball's out by 4, so we're just looking to use it on Mondays from 4 to 5 for pitchers and catchers. There's probably 7 girls and 3 coaches there.
I'll make the motion to approve Litchfield softball to use Talent Hall on Mondays from 4 to 5 PM.
Is there a second?
Yeah.
Second?
Second.
Oh, yeah.
We already have.
All right, good.
All right, is there discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, abstained, motion carries 5-0. Lastly, we have a request from Litchfield Girls Softball League on behalf of Fusion Softball for Royal Memorial Park in June and July.
You want me to do another one?
No, I'll take it.
All right, so at one time, and we talked about this last year, one time, the New England Fusion was actually a program that was brought together between Litchfield Blast and Londonderry Lightning softball programs. Once the girls got through Babe Ruth at 12U, they had no avenue to go, so they took the 2 towns and they created the New England Fusion program. So that's been going on for years. Last year, they decided to try to bring the programs closer together. We allowed them to use DARA, and in exchange, they gave us temporary fencing out there for it. We run the concession stand. They bring all their own draggers in there, lime, everything. So they're basically just using the fields. And as a rec commission, we said okay to it last year. They've come forth to us once again with several dates they'd like to use it. We as a board at LGSL looked at it. One date we did have a conflict, so we told them that date wouldn't be good because we're going to have a tournament that date. But the other dates were wide open. So as long as the rec commission is good for it. What I don't know is if our fee structure gets put in place, because they are a for-profit organization, and probably about half of their program have Litchfield girls in it. Do we want to charge as a commission?
I would think yes, personally, just because I know it's costing us more money for like the fences and stuff.
Yeah, well, the fences are already been given to LGSL.
No, to mow around them.
Or to mow around them and stuff,
Yeah.
So I mean,
That's like-
and that's why we have it through, because we're gonna put the fences up anyways, from LGSL standpoint, right, for our season.
Yeah.
But if the fee structure's in there, I don't think they'll have any issue. We just gotta go to them and say, hey, the fee is blah.
Yeah. What was it? $50 or I can't remember what we charged you.
Well, I guess my question, did we
$25.
vote on the fee and did we put it in process?
We
or
did because the other group that's going to use the baseball fields
Yeah,
agreed to pay the fee.
okay, good.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's all we have to do is let them know what the fee will be and they'll have no issue paying it.
Okay. So we'll just go with what the policy is?
Yeah.
for the time?
Yeah.
That's why we have a policy.
So if you just let me know what that is, we can get that back to them so they can pay that bill. What we don't have right now is a certificate of insurance, but I did ask for it.
Okay.
And they gave it to us last year too.
Good.
We run the concession stand and, you know, we make profit off of that.
Great.
It works okay.
All right, is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve, what is that, the Fusion?
New England
New
Fusion.
England Fusion to use Dara on the requested dates.
You want to make a contingent on COI?
Yeah, contingent on the COI and the agreements to pay the fee.
A motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion is second, is there further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstain, motion carries 500. Were there any other field or facility requests?
I guess, sorry, it's probably too late. I was just thinking, what did we decide with the Healthy Kids running?
They're going to Sawmill.
They are going to?
Yeah.
Okay. That's confirmed.
I believe that's how we
That's
left
where we
it.
left it.
Okay.
And Mike said that he
Okay.
would work the scheduling around it for them.
Okay.
Yeah,
I just
'cause
want-
they pushed their time back a little bit.
I think by a half hour.
Right, that's
right?
right. I forgot. I couldn't remember if that was finally decided.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Moving along then. Old business, Litchfield Lions Club has a movie family night at the end of this month on Sunday, the 28th, from 1 to 5, already on the books. Looking to see if someone may be available to just provide a little support or be available to them that afternoon, pop over, make sure they have everything they need.
Sunday. I might be able to hop over later.
What time is it?
It's 1 to 5.
I've got
On
to come in
Sunday.
until 1.
1 to 5.
So before is probably more important than later, so.
Got it.
I could probably do that.
Last year, we went to clinics before it, and they showed up, and I showed them how to set up everything and where it
We
was.
did. We helped them carry everything.
And we showed them where the extension cords were, helped them get everything set up. Then unfortunately, somebody tripped in the stairs, so we had ice
Yeah,
packs.
that
We
was
gave the
awful.
individual.
Yeah, it was awful.
Jeez. Yeah, I can be there.
There?
Make sure they.
And what I'll do is, since we have pickleball the night before, I'll get with the town administrator and see if we can have a cleaning on Saturday morning. Or Sunday
Sunday
morning
morning.
sometime, just to make sure it's clean between the pizza party and before all the kids come in.
Okay.
So I'll reach out and see if we can get a second cleaning.
All right, right now baseball is scheduled to be in there that morning, just before them.
I don't think we're gonna start clinics until February, right?
Yeah,
That's what we
just
decided.
because of-
So it should be
Should be good?
good.
Okay.
And we'll cancel anything
Yeah, softball related.
softball related that evening.
Yeah,
So we'll make sure we clean the deck on the 28th, so they'll have it.
Great, thank you.
We weren't starting any softball clinics until the 4th anyway.
Yeah, but we had,
Nothing during the day.
we have
it's just like
conditioning and
at
skills, and that,
5.
yeah, so.
Or what time is that, 5?
5.
5.
This is over at 5, so we may just wanna cancel it that night, just because by the time they break down and get out of there and everything.
That's fine.
All right, thank you for that. And
Right,
Jeff, you
and
have-
I'll get with town administrator to get it, make sure we have a cleaning in there.
Perfect, thank you.
Yep.
And Jeff will hook you up with a point of contact with the Lions, just so they have someone they know they can reach out to.
Okay.
I believe it was Ray Peoples last year.
I have to look back and see
I
who made
think
the
that's who it
request.
was.
Is that right?
Okay. No, Ray.
Thank you. All right, that's it for old business. Other business, emails for this month, Jeff, that's on you, and Mike will be in February. Is there other?
March.
You got March, yep. Are there other business items folks wanted to bring up?
Nope, I'm good.
Yeah, I'll just, I heard from the gentleman that's supposed to be constructing the pavilion down at Pickleball. He was gonna try and start at the end of last week, but with the freeze, he got held up, and now with the snow, so I'm not sure what his schedule is.
Yeah.
With that going on, it might end up having to push off until the spring, so,
53 tomorrow's easy digging.
yeah.
Couple
if he-
inches
if
of
he can
rain.
Get back there,
If you get past the mud.
yeah,
Really, half inch of mud and then ice.
Right, yeah, right now.
yeah,
But it's still promising that it's on kind of the top of his list, then,
Yeah.
it sounds like. So,
Yeah.
yeah, weather is what it is, and
Mhm.
I certainly understand that. But thanks for checking in on it.
yep.
Are there other items? I just had two quick budget things to note, first of all, the funds were encumbered as requested. Thank you to the board, select board for that. It covered the HVAC repairs as well as the pipes for the water.
Move the water heater and.
The water heater, yep. Did not cover the slide. We did not have we needed an estimate to encumber the funds, so something to think about for next year as we get later into the year. If there's anything that we want to encumber that we haven't gone that far down the road, it'd be important to
To
get,
look into it.
get
Yeah.
a documented invoice.
And our other avenue would be if we do get the warrant article passed, we could use that to take care of the slide.
That certainly could be. That slide's been,
It-
folks have been doing good to keep it
Yeah.
safe enough, but it's, it's,
Someone's gonna eventually get hurt on
yeah,
it.
yeah.
It's not gonna heal up on its own.
No, it's not. It's not. Other budget item is, it looks like the budget request was reduced by $8,000 in the final cut that will go before voters in March, but we do have an opportunity deliberative to potentially restore those funds, so that's a conversation to think about over the next couple of weeks, because deliberative is on third?
Third, yep.
3rd of February.
February 3rd.
And the other warrant article, looks like the language went through perfectly, so.
Yep.
Again, thank you, Steve, for helping shepherd
Welcome.
that process for us. Right. And so we'll be speaking to that. I'll plan to speak to that on the 3rd on behalf of the commission, but we'll check with everyone ahead of time.
Yeah, and Board of Selectmen, it was 5-0-0. Budget Committee, it was 8-1-0 vote.
Was there a concern of note that we should be mindful of, or?
No. The one is the typical no on everything, so,
Understood.
so. 14 people, 13 support it.
It's pretty good.
Take that as a win.
Absolutely. Every time. All right. If there's no further business, our next meeting is on the 23rd of January. Your motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening.